So welcome back, everyone. I have to say this, I've been doing this every time this is my next guest that comes on. Are you sitting at a restaurant right now and it's kind of lousy? Are you sitting at a restaurant that you can tell is kind of going down? I want you to listen up. If you're an owner of a restaurant, if you know somebody who's owns a restaurant, you know they're failing, these are the people they need to call. I have with me Tom Duhigg and Kevin Trumbull. They are the owners of Rise from the Ashes Consulting. And I thank you. Thank you, number one, for what you're doing, because you came on a few weeks ago when we talked about favorite restaurants and how we'll go to them. And sometimes even our favorite ones could, turn around. It just happens like that. But you help them, and I want you to tell them a little bit about yourself, because you have such a huge background in where you came to where you are today.
Yeah. Well, my first restaurant experience was a disaster. That's my first experience. Almost went out of business. And it was a build it and they will come. Right? I had this great idea, partner and I had this great idea. Turned the open sign on and they didn't come. Mm-hmm. And so this went on for a while, and I said, well, you need to turn this around quickly. Mm-hmm. So I studied, we worked very hard. He made sure everything was perfect, and inside I went outside, try to bring people in. And in about 90 days, we were able to turn it around. This is a 90-day number.
That's amazing.
Yes, so I documented everything we did. How did we turn it around? I documented and keep that with me. Then my next restaurant adventure was a struggling restaurant, but already knew how to turn things around. Partnered with Kevin here, who had the marketing background, and we turned that struggling restaurant into a destination, institution, and a go-to place that people would come from 2 hours in every direction.
Wow.
And that took us about 90 days. And he started the promotion, and that thing turned around to a huge success. Unfortunately, we had a kitchen fire that put that out of business. Mm-hmm. So after that, I moved to Phoenix, and I started helping independent chains and some of the larger chains grow. I help them grow across the country. Also, I would help them with their struggling restaurants. And so I had this formula on this kind of a playbook that I would roll out to the struggling ones, whether independent or franchise, and we get things turned around in 90 days. Just about, if we can. Not all of them, but most of them. And so with that experience and knowledge, we have the playbook, or the Restaurant Profit Accelerator, that now we're really trying to help the independents, because the chains last year grew, the independents shrunk, and we know why, right? And we can help those independents. So even in Phoenix Metro, they're closing 12 to 15 every month.
15 a month.
That's
A
sad.
month, and we don't think that has to happen. That does not have to happen. And so we know how to help them out. We're anxious to get going, and we have some clients right now that we're helping them turn around, as long as they follow the plan.
Now, I want to also say this. It doesn't matter what kind of restaurant.
No.
It doesn't, even food trucks, you've done those as well.
Catering companies.
Catering, I mean, they're here to help. And I want you first I want you to recap about what we did the last show.
Yes.
Because we're going to be talking about how important hiring is, part 2.
Yeah,
today.
hiring, yes. One of the most important things that restaurant owners will do is how they staff. I mean, if you don't have enough people, when you can talk about your experience, if they don't have the right people, we don't really say right or wrong, they're not a match to the concept, not a match to the leadership. If they're not a match, they're going to do you harm. Mm-hmm. So hiring, if you're not staffed with competent people, you can't execute. If you can't execute, you become lousy. Just like you say, lousy. And if they're sitting in a restaurant, so Kevin, talk about the experience you just had.
Actually, we just went to, it's funny because we just went to a restaurant yesterday, and we walked in, the hostess sat us down at the table, and 20 minutes later, our waitress come up, apologizing that, hey, I am so sorry. Poor girl was frazzled, and she said, I'm so sorry, but I'm the only one here today. And it's like they had no help, people not showing up, they let a couple people go. I don't know what all the excuses were, but the point was that she was the only one there. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the things that we help eliminate.
I hope you left your card.
I did leave a card, of course. I leave a card no matter what. And the other thing is, Carol, I just want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. We need to get that in the show today.
Right.
Yeah.
So in Kevin's scenario, not only not being staffed, they're gonna lose customers,
Yes.
right? But they're gonna lose that employee too.
Yes.
That good employee is going to quit.
Yeah,
So
because that person was really struggling. She was I felt so sorry for this young lady because she's like, I'm carrying the whole load. I'm so sorry. Here's a $10 off your next meal. And I mean, what do you say?
It's very
I mean,
demeaning
it's
for
not
her.
her fault.
No, it's not her fault.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about that. She not only did she come up, she said she was sorry. She
Correct.
told you what was going on, and she gives you this $10 certificate to come back.
Yeah, bounce
You know,
back.
and I'm telling you that, first of all, how many people do that? Not many.
Not many.
Not many. And when you find the ones that are doing that, they're the ones that you're gonna end up going back to. They know what they're doing. I mean, and this girl might have not even really realized it because that she might have not even been trained that way, but that was in her heart.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right.
Right.
So let's talk about
Yeah.
right hiring.
So last time we talked about the mistakes that restaurants and any business owner makes when they're hiring hourly people. So they got to understand that hiring, just a real recap, it goes both ways. You hire somebody and they hire you too. Most of the time they just say, oh, that's a good match for me, but not sure that you're a match for them. So turnover happens when somebody changes their mind. I changed my mind about you, you're gone. The employee changes their mind about you, they're gone. So in the beginning, you got to make sure that's a good match. Another thing we talk about is resumes and applications being fake and falsified. AI.
Yeah, I remember we
Yeah,
talked
you're looking
about
at some.
that.
Oh, what a perfect resume! Oh, look at these jobs. Everything's clean, crystal clean. It's not. Does not represent the work history, the reasons for leaving, the dates are wrong because AI just does what you have to tell it to do. Then there's the chess game where the owner Googles, hey, what are some good interview questions? And then the applicant Googles, what are some good answers to those questions, right? So you got this, you can't really trust the conversation you're having. Not that anybody's lying, but it's not a real
Now they're a
conversation.
perfect match.
No, perfect match. And then we talk about also knowing what you want. Everybody knows what they want, right? I want this, I want that, but what don't you want? But they never look for that. I don't want somebody who's going to be late. Well, then interview for that. I don't want somebody who's going to have issues with management. Well, interview for that. And we teach people how to interview for that, which is more important than interviewing for what you want. So that's kind of what we talked about last time. And those are some big errors that they make. Here's some other ones. Never stop interviewing.
That was something you mentioned at the last.
Never stop interviewing. Even if I'm full, you're not full. Because we take people's turnover from 100% down to 10.
You always have to have your Rolodex full.
You do. Now, if you have 10% and you have 100 employees, you're going to hire 10 employees, whether you let them go or they're quitting. So you got to be ready for them, right? So you always have to be, even if you have only 50 employees, you're still going to lose 5. You need to be ready to replace them just like that. Or you're going to always upgrade your staff. So you're always interviewing. So one mistake is they don't. Another mistake is, how can you interview all the time? You need an applicant flow, right? And what do they say? Oh, I can't get anybody, I can't hire anybody. I got to hire the first one who comes in the door because I don't have an applicant.
Warm body.
Warm body. We show them how to do that. There's a hot market, there's a warm market, and a cold market. The cold market are people that don't know you, right? The job boards, that's where everybody goes. I need help. Well, go to Indeed, go to Snag Job, go to whatever it is, right? ZipRecruiter. Well, those people don't know you. But there's a hot market and there's a warm market before you even get there. But nobody talks about it. We show people have a steady flow every week of applicants.
He knows what he's talking about. You've been doing this for a long time.
A long time, and especially when we were growing across the country, and some of these chains, one was a private and one was a very famous burger company everybody knows about. We had to hire 100 people quickly, so we had to establish that, and then hire them right.
Hiring the right applicant.
So we came up with gatekeeper hiring, and we applied it every single time to get 100 people just like that, and then train them right, and we were able to open big.
There are good people out there. You have to
Yes.
find them. You have to weed them out because that's just the way it is. But if you keep on going and you keep on having that process, it's like a machine. It's a well-oiled
Yes,
machine.
absolutely.
And if it works like that, that's fantastic. And some of these things, we've talked about this before, where people say, well, I can do that. Well, if you could do it, why are you failing? Why are you have it? You don't know to do it. That's the thing. They don't know how to do it right. That's where you come in.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that people put on the back burner. because they think, I'll just get to it later, right now I got this fire to put out, or this thing to do, or this thing to do. And then they're like, oh no, now I gotta hire somebody and I forgot to get that overflow of applicants coming in.
They turn you around in 90 days. It is a proven system that they have. Not just done once or twice, it has been done for a long time with many different restaurants, any kind of restaurants. You've got a food truck, you've got, you even said catering
Catering
as
companies,
well, catering companies. They are statewide. They do complimentary consultations. You can call them at 520-907-8409. It's Rise from the Ashes Consulting.com. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute.
Yeah.
Cool. So when we come back, we're gonna go further,
Yeah,
deep
it's-
on further,
Mhm.
okay? I like this too. Oh, you guys, at some point, not right this minute, I think you should do another ad with, we can do it in 90 days together, how you said
Did you like that?
Yeah, I did.
We didn't even practice that.
I don't think
I
you
just looked
did,
at 'em.
it just happened, I know. I think that would be
But
cool if you do
want to
that.
stress the 90 days.
Yeah.
And we talked about that. Why is it 90 days? I don't know. When we start with the hiring, we start hiring better, we see drastic changes in 90 days, right? They've weeded through ones, they've gotten some better ones. Implementing Kevin's marketing, he starts with the social media first, because that's what everybody's doing, but nobody's doing it the way it should. Here's my burger, where Kevin turns it into an experience, a showcasing of hospitality, a story, and his thing. So we start with there, and then he builds on that with then revenue rivers is the next step, and then hitting the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that's what, that's his expertise. So and in 90 days, you start seeing all these new people coming in. In the meantime, I'm working on
The
books,
internals.
food, I'm looking at the recipe adherence, we're doing cost analysis, we're making sure that they make money and getting everybody trained, right? So we want to make sure that when they come in, they come back.
I'm gonna ask you, I'm not asking you on air, but do you love what you do?
Especially when we come 90 days, 120 days, 6 months later, because it's an acceleration. It doesn't stop. It just keeps going.
When you see an owner like this, when we go in,
Yeah.
and when we leave, they're like, you
Oh,
guys
they
are my
give
best
hugs and
friend.
everything.
Yeah.
And the employees know us
Yeah.
because they've been trained right. It's a different crew, or even the
White
same
company,
crew with a
though.
different
Do
perspective.
they, after a while, after they are successful, even still have you stay on like as a consultant type for
Some
them?
do, some don't. Our main goal is
Mainly
to
it's the
teach them to
marketing,
do it.
Yeah,
Now, yes,
So they-
Mainly the
marketing.
marketing stuff, like if I'm they're working for their social media and trying to do their video ads and stuff, because we do the whole hamburger's wonderful, and it's doing all these fancy things.
I
and-
did have wonderful hamburger.
And so, yes, to answer your question, yes, we stay on in that aspect.
Yeah, if they want
yeah.
to. But we want them to be
We want 'em to
done.
give 'em
and
wings,
they
yeah.
know how to do it
Give 'em
without
wings.
being,
Let 'em
otherwise
fly.
we would not be able to move on to the next client. So we want to
Well,
teach them.
I understand that. I was just wondering, sometimes people do,
They
'cause
do.
especially for somebody, even though they've learned it, there's new things that happen all the time.
When we help them.
Especially if they want to grow,
Yeah,
And when we help
extend their
them,
business.
they have us for a year. I mean, we're on call for a year, and the calls get less and less and less. But they have something they want to run something by us, we're there for a whole year after they,
mention that. You never mentioned that.
yeah. You never mentioned that.
So welcome back, everyone. I'm getting hungry talking
Yes,
about
talk about
all of
burgers
these
and stuff.
restaurants. Yeah, for sure. So keep on going about hiring the right people.
Yes. So we're talking about the mistakes they need to stop doing. So what I actually do, we go in there and we audit interviews. We will sit with them, or they'll record them and send them to me, and I'll do some coaching. Like, we have clients across the country. I said, I want you to record your next interview and send it to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no wonder you're not can't say staff. So one of the things that they do is they like to sell the job. Instead of having the applicant sell them, they're trying to sell. They say things like, well, this is the best place, we got the best food, we got the best service, you're gonna work with a great team, and you'll be doing this, and you'll get this benefit, that, blah, 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 blah. Will you take the job?
Of course.
Yeah, and they talk like 80% of the time, and that place is going, So they hire like that. They sell the job. So you don't know anything about this person. right? How do you know that they didn't burn their last 4 employers?
Mhm.
How do you know they didn't get fired for stealing or whatever? You know nothing about them, but this is how they sell. So they sell the job. Usually they oversell the job because it really isn't that
Because they're
good.
desperate.
Right. What we say is don't ever oversell the job. In fact, just the opposite.
Yeah, just like with the pool company, that I own a pool company, so we tell them it's gonna be hot, it's gonna be miserable, the sun's gonna beat on you at 115 degrees.
Mhm.
I'm glad you like to be outside all the time because that's what it requires. You're gonna deal with people, dogs, animals, and children. So,
Insects too.
yeah.
Snakes.
All the snakes, everything. Oh, we pulled out a couple rattlesnakes this week out of the skimmer baskets. So you tell them all that stuff, and then you tell them some of the benefits of the job. They get their truck, they get their clothing, they get, these things are included, and their benefits of how much time off and that. But up front, we tell them the worst of the worst. That way, this is what you're going to expect.
I wrote some ads for bakery, and the thing is, a baker, you're going to be head to toe in flour. Your feet are going to hurt. Your back is going to hurt, and you're not going to sit down and take a break. It's just too much work. But the stuff you're making is going to make people's lives better. They're going to know that whenever you put out, they're going to be thankful. They're going to come back for what you're producing, and then they're like, "Wow, really? I'm going to make that?" Yes.
Mhm.
But the job really isn't that bad.
Right, no, but
We
you
always
want them to
undersell
know.
it.
Right.
If they can't see themselves doing that, then don't apply. Don't show up for the second interview.
Right.
And they fire themselves before they even show up. Right? So
That's okay, because you're weeding out.
that's fine.
Right.
You want the people that
Yeah.
are gonna be willing to do whatever it takes.
So quit selling the job, undersell it. So
Okay.
that when you got somebody deciding, they go, I want that because what they do. Right? What they do. The other thing is allowing the applicant to flip the interview. So I'm interviewing somebody, and then all of a sudden they're getting a little uncomfortable. They start asking me questions.
Mhm.
And so I start, this is a great conversation. They really want to know. And I tell them a bunch of stuff. Now they use that and then flip it back and then tell me why they're the perfect candidate. They got me to tell them about the job when I wasn't. So we say, do not let them flip. If they want to flip it, just say, hey, that's a great question. Write it down, because we have pads of paper. Write that down. I'll be glad to answer it at the end of the interview. They're answering your questions. You're not answering their question. Now, that's just some clarification they want to clarify.
Right.
But it's you control it. You never lose control. And you can see the more they squirm about that, they're hiding something, because it should be an honest interview. But you can see the body language change.
That's one of the things that Tom was first teaching me, the gatekeeper hiring system that we have. And having an interview, you set up for the interview as a manager or a CEO, and then you say, okay, you have one tablet for them and a paper, and one tablet for you and a paper. And that's the whole purpose of that, is so that you're guiding the interview, getting the answers that you need as an owner, and they can ask questions at the end. That way you control the interview.
Yeah,
It's
that's it.
important.
It's so
Yes.
important.
Because you don't know, again, this is an important feature of what you do. One of the most important things you'll ever do in your business.
Well,
is
they're
that person
your
the right match?
employees, and you're
Mhm.
trusting them,
Right.
not only just to serve well, but also they're gonna be in that business when you're not there,
Right.
and you want this to run
Yep.
the way you'd like it ran when you are
Exactly.
there.
And they're the person that's building the value of your business
Mhm.
to the customer.
Oh, yeah.
The next mistake is if they just implemented this, they would take an hour interview to 20 minutes. We have a 20-minute interview, and that's it. And we either know or we don't know. Quit asking questions that have nothing to do with the job. If you just did that,
How many people
you
do
would
that?
cut.
Everybody
do.
does it, yeah.
So I was asked, I was interviewing for a director of operations job, right? And the guy interviewing me, he said, so if you were a superhero, which one would you be? I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
At that question, I know I'm not
Ant-Man.
going to work for him. If that's going to determine whether I'm a match or not, is that question. And I said, so again, I broke rank. I said, so
There must be a reason, that's crazy.
I said, what's a good answer to that? Superman, because you're probably Wonder Woman and Hulk and Spider-Man, those are all good. Okay, so what's a bad answer? Batman. Why? Dark and this and that. Okay, I'll answer that question later. What's your next dumb question you're going to ask me, right? I didn't say that, but I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to work for this guy
Yeah.
with these questions.
Mhm.
So at the end of the interview, he knew it was like going well. We lost rapport, and I think this is just kind of a joke. I said, let me get back to that superhero interview question. He said, okay, so what would you be? I said, Batman. He said, why? I said, well, Superman came from Krypton. He had no choice. Spider-Man was bitten by a spider. Hulk was blasted with gamma rays or something like that. He had no choice. None of these people had a choice. What happened with Batman? He watched his parents get murdered in front of him. And he had a choice at that point. Feel sorry for himself, start drinking, doing drugs, or become Batman and fight crime. That's why I would do that.
Where else but on Will you? No. I love that story. And it's true.
And then he
It's a
said,
true
then he goes,
story.
I want you to work. I go, sorry, no. But we ended up shaking hands and it ended well. He says, he told me, he admitted, I don't like asking those questions. Well, then don't ask them.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That took a
But you
2-hour
still do
interview
it.
and you asked me these
That's
silly
funny.
questions. So don't do that on that one. This is bad too. Being late for the interview and unprepared.
If you're unprepared as the owner, I'm sorry.
I walk in and
You
there's.
deserve what you're getting.
So
90% of them are late.
they're late. They are. They
On
have a
purpose.
strategy. I'm like,
On
why would you do
purpose.
that?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, do I want to see what they do? I want to see how they act. No, they're
Oh.
judging how you're acting. You're late for the interview. Your
No.
So
integrity's
you're
on the
showing
line.
them to be late.
Right.
What else are you going to do that you
It
don't?
starts at the top, you guys.
does.
Yeah.
Not only are you going to be on time, you're going to greet them at the front door and open the door for them, have a table set up for them with
Yeah.
with
Right.
you know
With a pen
drinks
and
and
paper and tablet.
on time. And now if they show up 15 minutes early, they sit there for 15 minutes. Interview starts on time.
Right, right.
You don't adjust. We're training them punctuality,
Mhm.
right? So you don't show up late and be prepared. Know what you can say, and we have an interview guide that we share with our clients, and they use it. There's questions. It's a 20-minute interview. It's all you need, and it only focuses on questions about the job and about them if they're a match or not. So that's a bad one.
Well, it's also a picture of how you want them to treat your guests that come through that door.
Sure, sure.
Right. The other thing is not creating rapport with the employee, with the applicant. They're nervous, right? Especially their first job. They're like, you gotta relax them, right? You have to set them. The interview doesn't start until you see a change in body language. And we teach them how to establish rapport in the first minute with the applicant. Get them at ease, because why do you want to stress them out? This is stressful. If you're going to make it more stressful, you're not going to have a good interview.
Right.
You got to
Give them
relax.
something to eat.
We say eat, right? Break them
The
out.
guest, yeah.
But the
Let them feel, here's our food, this is what you're serving. They're
that's
gonna
right.
love it.
Yeah, we do.
See?
Yep, that's
And then we tell
exactly
them
what
the
we do.
interview does not start until you see a change in body language. So like if they're like this, and then you do that, we teach them how to get instant rapport with people. When you see them do this, the interview starts.
No.
Or if they're like this, and then they do this, the interview starts.
Okay.
Because you've got that rapport, and you maintain it during the whole interview. Now it's honest. Now doesn't matter what they rehearse. They don't think about all the
So you
rehearsed
can tell
answers.
on the radio, you could say when they're tense,
I was going to say.
right?
Right.
then
He forgets
it's
he's
not-
on the radio and not on TV.
Well, I'm on Facebook there. And the last thing, this is a controversial one. The last one. No heartstring hiring.
What does that mean?
Right?
That's good. Yeah,
No
this
heartstring
is
hiring.
really good.
I'm going to fix them. I know they got a crappy work history.
Oh, yeah.
I know that they're just, I know
But
they
I need
have all
them
I
to
these
can
desperately-
problems,
change it.
but
I can
I'm going to
him.
change them. They just need somebody good to work for. Even though they've blown off the last four.
I'm gonna give
four-
them the chance.
I'm going
and
to give them
we're
the
changing
chance to do it. And you know what happens? Turn.
Saying,
So you can't fix them. You don't have the energy. You can't motivate them.
You don't have time for
If they're
that.
not motivated, they gotta be motivated. They gotta bring motivation. They gotta be fixed.
At the end of the day,
Before
it's
you give
all
a job.
about your business.
Yeah, you can't fix them. Now, if you want to help them out some other way, great, but don't bring them onto your business because you're not gonna fix them.
Right.
They have to fix themselves, and they'll take your business with them.
These people can turn any restaurant, any food truck, any catering business around in 90 days. It is a proven system. They've been doing it for years. They've done some major chains and all sorts of types of businesses that they have helped. I meant restaurants, I should say it
Yeah,
that way,
and
because she
business,
focuses.
yeah.
This works on businesses as well, but you focus on restaurants. They will turn it around in 90 days. If it's you, give them a call. If you know somebody, tell them about them. It's 520-907-8409. Rise from the Ashes Consulting.com.